I'm Bruce Arnold. I'm an assistant professor teaching law at the University of Canberra, and I'm filling in for the Vice-Chancellor who's overseas this week. Michelle, how's Rudd gone in his first week?
I think he's had a good first week. It's been very much the Energizer Bunny Rudd that we remember. He's been here, there and everywhere. He's been doing a lot. At his press conference before he left for Indonesia, he gave us a list of what he's been doing all week. But basically the polls have been positive, the feedback from the Labor Party has been positive for him, and I think he has brought a new sense of hope and excitement to the party.
Are we seeing the old Rudd, or has he really changed?
I think the old Rudd is very much in evidence, but he wants to get across the message that he's changed in style, that he's going to be more consultative, that he's listening, that he's got some greybeards in the office. He doesn't have just 20-somethings people advising him. But in terms of his energy, in terms of the fact that he has a whole lot of balls in the air at the same time, it is the old Rudd. And also, even though he's sending out these signals about a new style, he, I think, wants to give the impression that he was in the Prime Ministership, there was an unfortunate interruption, here he is back, continuing on.
With constantly reprising the ticker line, is Rudd really messing with Abbott's mind?
He's certainly trying to, and I think this is quite a difficult line for Tony Abbott. He doesn't want to debate Rudd outside an election campaign or outside Parliament, because he's had a bad experience before when Rudd did him over in a health debate. And also, he just feels, I would imagine, that that would put the attention on him, and he wants it on the government. But nevertheless, Rudd's taunts, while he has to be careful not to go too far, are potentially quite damaging for Tony Abbott.
What's the government doing to try and grapple with the asylum seeker issue?
This, of course, is its worst problem. It's intractable. Kevin Rudd has the difficulty that he was the one, the Prime Minister, who first softened the policy, and that led to more boats arriving. So he can be blamed by the opposition for the initial restarting of this problem after John Howard had stopped the boats. Fixing it up now is a real challenge. In Indonesia, Rudd is trying to get some better arrangements to tackle the problem at the outflow from Indonesia level. But before his trip, he was playing down expectations, and anything that happened would be pretty slow and mightn't come off anyway. Also, the government is reviewing the processing criteria. It's asserting that a lot of these people are economic migrants and that it wants to crack down on them, and that the whole processing is too loose. But I think that having results before the election, whenever the election is not going to be realistic. It's not going to happen. And so it is a quite difficult narrative for Rudd to establish that we are doing something, we know it's a problem, there'll be a result eventually.
Do you think Rudd's initiatives to clean up the New South Wales party, the ALP in New South Wales, will sway the voters? Is this the start of a long campaign?
He had to do this. He had to distance himself from the New South Wales Labor Party. Apparently voters quite like it when a leader fights their own party, but there was no alternative anyway. The measures that he's foreshadowed, the federal intervention to clean up the party, is pretty limited, and it's not going to real reform of the ALP, making the ALP more of a mass party and so on, that Rudd is also interested in looking at. Whether it'll sway the voters, I think that many voters will say, well, why wasn't this done before? And many voters in New South Wales are already turned off Labor because of the horrific stories of corruption, and we're about to get the ICAC report, which will bring that back to people's minds. So I think it was a necessary move, but a move which will probably only have limited voter results.
Thanks, Michelle, and you'll be talking to one of my colleagues next week.
Good to talk to you.